Hey guys, just wanted to go over an order I just received from usanifemaker.com. I've done business with them several times in the past. This is actually the website that's owned and operated by Tracy Mickley, who is the designer and seller of the no-weld grinder plans that I use, which I built. Have another video kind of giving an overview on that, so definitely look at that if you haven't seen it. It's a spectacular grinder for probably just about the cheapest you can build one, especially considering the versatility. But anyway, along with plans and various parts and things of that nature for their no-weld grinder, they also have just an amazing assortment of knife making supplies, anything from blade steels, handle materials, sheath making materials, all the way up to grinders and ovens and the larger power tools. You name it, they pretty much have it. There's only a couple things that they don't carry yet, which I have asked about that in the past, such as 1095. They do plan on getting a supplier in the future, from what I'm told. They just need some warehouse space for things of that nature. So definitely recommend checking them out if you haven't already. Like I said, a huge assortment of just about anything you could ever want or need. Even a lot of things that are not necessarily related to knife making. They have a lot of quality stuff and great prices. They really have some of the best prices I've seen. They might be a few cents higher on a few items here and there, but overall it seems like they do beat a lot of guys out, and the customer service is just phenomenal. And I got all this stuff within just a matter of a few days. Very fast processing for the size of the order, and very fast shipping. So they definitely come highly recommended by me. Again, that's usanifemaker.com. If you haven't checked them out, I definitely urge you to do so. But just wanted to get a few things, so I placed an order with them. A lot of it's stuff that I've wanted for quite some time. And first thing I got that I've really needed for a while is a 48-inch bib apron. Nothing super fancy. They only carry one leather apron on their site, but it's pretty much the one I was looking for. 48 inches long. It's got a pencil pocket and maybe something for a slightly bigger tool. In the front, this does have the, instead of the neck strap that goes around the back of your neck, I believe these have shoulder straps that are also adjustable. I haven't taken this out or looked at it yet, but it looks like pretty good quality from what I can see. And it was just over 20 bucks, so you really can't beat it. Definitely something to keep the sparks off of me, maybe a little bit of the dust and other debris. Just something any metal worker should have, in my opinion, or even a woodworker, as you can get bit by sparks and shavings from time to time. So definitely gonna start putting this to use, and very excited about that. Another thing I wanted to get was some handle material. Up till now I've just been doing paracord, or maybe thinking about doing just bare handles with nothing on them. So I wanted to get some handle material and try my hand at that. And what I have here are some pre-cut scales. I believe they're 1.5 by 5, linen micarta. They look to be very good quality, very consistent, so I'm definitely excited to try these out. These are 1/8 inch thick, as will the sheet I'm about to show you be 1/8 inch as well. So I'm definitely excited to start putting these on. I'll probably use epoxy and some brass pins initially. Might work up to some different kinds of rivets, but definitely something I've been wanting to try out. I also picked up some canvas micarta, which really is very similar It actually looks almost identical from what I'm looking at, but it's supposed to be a slightly different texture from what I understood. This actually looks to be the same exact stuff, so who knows. Anyway, definitely get some use out of this, be able to customize my scale widths and things like that a little bit more, so hopefully we can maximize that. But excited to try that out. Another thing I got, kind of had an idea. Some guy was asking me if I made butterfly knives or balisongs, and it's definitely something I've been interested in and something I want to try in the future. So I did get some pivots, some 3/16 by 3/8 folder pivots, as well as some 1,000th thick bronze bushings to match. So I might try to throw something together here in the future, maybe get some prototypes out. Probably nothing I'm going to get too serious with, depending on how it goes, and I'm not sure if I'll even offer them for sale. But just kind of something I wanted to try on the side, and we might also be able to use these for some folder prototypes in the future. But just got a couple of those, not a huge order, so just enough to maybe try a few ideas out. And speaking of folders, I've always loved slip joints, and even before I started making fixed blades, I did quite a bit of research on making slip joints. And I wanted to try Great Lakes Waterjet. They're an Indiana-based water jet company who primarily deal with knife makers. They actually have their own knife company called Curtis Knives, and they mostly just do parts for knives and things of that nature. And they've partnered up with USAKnifemaker.com, and he's distributing for them all of their knife blanks, folder kits, things like that. So I picked up the Bullet slip joint. One of my favorite styles of slip joints. I think it's just a really attractive handle and blade. So what I'm going to do before I actually try to make this is I'm going to trace these patterns onto some mild steel just to have as templates for the future. Since this isn't a custom, it's just a typical pattern that you find through dozens of companies. I'm not worried about copyright or anything, but I'm going to use this to make probably a few knives, hopefully, and we'll see how that goes. Needs a little bit more roughing out. You can see where the tabs were busted off when it was cut with a water jet, so you need to clean these up just a little bit, maybe round them off some. But definitely really close to being ready to go. It actually has a couple index holes on the pivot of the blade, as well as the center pin for the spring, so that should make that a little bit easier. But definitely something that I'm excited to get into when I have some spare time. And along the same lines, I also got a big sheet of 410 series stainless steel, 0.04 inches thick, same thickness as the liners that came with this knife kit here. So definitely going to get a lot of liners and things of that nature out of this. I might even use this for some liner locks, or maybe if I try to make a lock back in the future. There's really just a lot you can do with this stuff, so definitely going to put that on the shelf for a later day, but should get a lot of use out of this, so I'm very excited about that. Got one more thing I almost forgot over here. One of the reasons I placed the order in the first place was because a lot of my belts are getting down to their final few knife blades. So I wanted to grab a few belts. I saw these belts called Norton Blaze belts. They're supposed to be some of the best belts you can get. They're a little steep in price. They're about 3 times more than your average belt, around $7 or $8. But they're supposed to last at least that much longer than your average belts. And they're supposed to cut a lot better, cut a lot cooler. They've got kind of a built-in lubricant supposedly. So I'm definitely excited to try these out and give my thoughts on those. Just got some basic grits, so 120, a 60, and I also got a 36, which this is an extremely harsh grit, it looks like. But the purpose of this one seemed like it was taking a little bit longer than I wanted to rough out my knife blinks. So hopefully I can get them a lot closer, a lot faster with this, and then switch to increasingly finer grits. But along the same lines, I got some finishing belts. These are engineered abrasives made by Norton as well. And these are called Norex belts. And these are just increasingly fine too. I think this is like 400, 600, 800 to 1000 or 1200. So it just gets increasingly finer. And this is going to be used not so much to remove metal, but just as a final finish on my blades. And using these 4 belts after maybe a 120 or a 220 regular belt, I should be able to achieve an almost mirror finish, especially if I couple this with some fine buffing compound. So definitely excited to try these out. I did have a very similar belt to one of these, my Trizag belt, which was a very fine engineered abrasive that I was very pleased with. So definitely going to put these to use. We'll hang this up on my belt rack and try to fill that out a little bit more. But last but definitely not least, I'm very excited about this to try this out. I will make an update video in the future showing them. Maybe we'll do a little bit tonight, I'm not sure. But I bought some dies for my eyelets. These are for the 3/16 eyelets that I use. And these were made by, specifically by the machinist that works for USA Knife Maker. They have a machinist they use for some other stuff. And they manufactured these, and from what they say on their website, these are better than any of the competition that a lot of guys are using. Time will certainly tell, but just initially looking at these, they seem very well made, very good finish. Very precisely machined. So we'll put this in my arbor press a little bit later, and maybe I'll do a video tonight, maybe not, but we'll see how these work. These are a little more expensive than the ones you get on like knifekits.com for about 35 bucks. These were 45, I think. But since I was already making an order, it's pretty much a wash once you combine shipping at Knife Kits if you're just getting these. I mean, shipping was kind of free on this since I was paying to ship the rest of the stuff as well. So definitely happy with the price. There are much more expensive ones out there as well, but these are supposed to be as good or if not better than. So time will also tell as far as these are concerned. But I'll give a little bit of an update on these later. Seems like all indications point to a very well made product right now, so we'll go ahead and check these up into the arbor press and try those out a little later. But that's pretty much it for the order. I'm about out of tape, so we're going to cut this off now. I just thought you guys might like to see that, as well as get some insight into some future projects I'd like to work on. So until the next video, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.